Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean, this is In The Mixer, episode 155. Happy Wednesday, wherever you're watching in our Isle of Man series. Our season rolls on. We are still kind of in the early part of the season. We've had a whole lot of football in the early part of this year. I'm kind of keen for us to actually start getting some space between our games. Our schedule's been hectic, results have been up and down, it's been a bit chaotic, but we're going to jump in and have a look at how we've done so far. Just realising, looking at myself here, I look a bit like a lumberjack. That transition is nearly complete, but lockdown is nearly finished. I cannot wait. So, first and foremost, as you guys can see above my head up here, we're still in third spot in the division, but we are kind of hanging on to it by the skin of our teeth at the moment. 15 games played, 9 wins, 2 draws, and 4 defeats during that period. Feels like we go on a good run, win a few games, and then we just all of a sudden have a bad run of results, which has kind of been the story for us. We'll focus on these results against Aston Villa and Leicester, the 2 draws that we've had since the other day's episode. If we had won those 2 games, we would be level on points with Chelsea. I think we'd still be behind them by goal difference, but in reality, that 4-point gap at the moment is purely down to us not getting good results against teams lower than us in the division. That's been what's really hurt us. It is Chelsea top though, so far leading the league. City just behind them by a singular point. United just behind us in 4th on 27 points, 2 points back, 4 points clear us from Arsenal and Bournemouth in 5th and 6th respectively. And then Liverpool, Tottenham and Leicester, 7th, 8th and 9th respectively, only 5 points behind us. So very quickly, if we have a bad run of results, we can drop down the table. We have so far been keeping our heads above water, but you can kind of feel that tension and that pressure coming from a lot of the chasing pack, few of whom we will play in the next few weeks as well. Now, looking at those results, of course, in yesterday's episode, we had a very, very good win against Chelsea and then a really poor Carabao Cup defeat against Manchester City, which is a bit frustrating. And we have played a full month of football. November has come and gone since then. We had a 0-0 draw with Leicester, which was quite frustrating. We went down to 10 men with about half an hour remaining. We did manage to hold on, which was good, but we had enough chances, I think, before going down to 10 where we probably should have found the back of the net at least once. The ratings here for Richard and Harold kind of show how tough it was for us to actually create opportunities. Rivera didn't have a great game either. Uli Schaefer came off the bench with 10 minutes remaining, which is the story of his life at the minute. And we just weren't really able to find that cutting edge to get us the 3 points. Thankfully, we did turn around and do a little bit better in the Champions League, beating Dynamo Kiev 4-0, which actually secured second round football in the Champions League for us, which is fantastic. We will have that draw for our knockout tie in today's episode as well. And then another disappointing 0-0 draw away at Aston Villa. Aston Villa, a side that haven't really been pulling up stumps at any point throughout the course of the season. Not the best team, but they did keep us out again. It was our front three that struggled. The back line did well. Midfield did relatively well as well. But you can see Haji on a 6.5 didn't create a lot from the number 10 position. Rivera at 6.5 didn't create a lot up front or didn't finish chances up front. And that kind of always puts us on the back foot. We did turn it around though. We got a very good 3-0 away win at Newcastle, who are a decent side. They've got some good players, including the likes of Alta Miranda and Jose Cedron, who played for us in previous seasons. We then followed it up by rotating quite heavily for the game against Wolfsburg in the Champions League itself. Quite a few of our backup players played, the likes of Lee Dickinson, Michael Fasterman, Jamie Warburton, Chris Miller. Uli Schaefer actually started the game. And we were still good enough to get a 1-1 draw, which is great. It was always interesting when you see new managers appointed at clubs. And about a day before we actually played Wolfsburg, they added Jurgen Klopp as their manager, which is always interesting. You always kind of see some sort of bounce back for a side once they add a new manager, but thankfully we were still able to get a point, which is fine. It pretty much secures us a second place finish in the division, which is great. And then a 1-0 defeat to Tottenham. Unlucky from this one. Alisson Vicente, a very good striker in the Premier Division, in the world game really. Got a good header from a corner. You can see some of his attributes here, just absolutely phenomenal stuff. But then we did turn it around again, a fantastic 2-1 win away at Liverpool. We haven't had that great a success record against Liverpool. Only 3 wins in 11, only 1 draw in that time as well. So the Harris side, who was looking to beat us for the 5th time in a row, thankfully we have kind of broken that duck a little bit, and hopefully that returns us to a bit of a spell of dominance where we can start getting some consistent points against them as well. That does bring us up to today's games where we're going to play Leeds, of course, reigning, defending Premier League champions Leeds. Very long shot odds to win the league last year, but they did. Eventually just by a single point from Manchester City. They are struggling a bit though this year. If you jump forward, they're down in 16th spot, only 15 points so far this season, and only 3 wins from their opening 15 games. Not the best results in the world. A lot of teams have either scored against them or managed to get some sort of points by way of draw. Their only 3 wins are against Southampton, Reading and Fulham. Reading and Fulham, 2 of the promoted sides from last season. Southampton, another side that is struggling this year, down in the relegation spot, so I'm hopeful that we can get a good result against them. And of course, in our second game, we're going to have our final match of the UEFA Champions League group stages, where we play Real Madrid, try and get a good result against them after a 3-0 defeat earlier in the group. But we'll see how we go with that one. Now, as far as the team is concerned, not too many issues to worry about. We've got a couple of knocks that you can see here, just because at the moment, really, when we have international breaks, at least 20 of our squad of 22 are getting called up for fixtures with like under 21 sides, under 18s, under 20s, wherever it is that they happen to sit. We've got a couple of full internationals in the squads as well. But it's been a consistent theme of a lot of these guys coming back with smaller knocks from international breaks, which is a bit of a struggle. Most of them, thankfully, should be fully fit by the time we get to the Real Madrid game. You might see some of these faces move into the starting lineup for that match. But we're back on a 4-2-3-1. We're not playing with that deep right-sided midfielder, that asymmetric shape that we were using earlier in the week. So far, it's been pretty good. We've also had some players come into decent runs of form as well. Jose Santana got his first international cap for Mexico, so we gave him a couple of starts, and he's performed really, really well. 6.9 average rating over 4 appearances for us. He's working his way into being comfortable in that deep line playmaker defender role, but he's very good at it. 14 first touch, 12 tackling, 15 technique. Good mental attributes. Physically, he's still got some improvement to do, but 18 years of age, plenty of time up his sleeve, and it's very, very young to actually be getting a Mexican cap, so hopefully we'll continue his development a little bit. He jumps in alongside Henry. And then the other one is Frank Richard. The knock to Lucas Gabriel has kind of helped this one a little bit, but he's also been in relatively good form as well. If we look at his recent form, just here, 7.36 over his last 5 appearances. He's got a 9.0 and 8.3 in that period as well, 6.7s for the rest of them. It's good to have that depth, that versatility, especially in our wing positions, because they are so key to what we try and do creatively. Him coming into a good run of form has helped us immensely. Now, even though Leeds are struggling, even though they aren't necessarily the champion winning side that they were last season, we're still going to go cautious away from home. We're just going to mix it up a little bit. We have also dropped our out of possession instructions a little bit further back. It was previously on higher. We're now doing it to standard lines of engagement and defensive line. And I think so far it's helped quite a bit. That's how we got that good result against Newcastle. Good away performance against Liverpool as well. I think maybe that's the right balance for us when we're using that more cautious, more counter-attacking mentality. But magic of editing, we're going to jump forward and look at the lineups for the Leeds match. So, as you guys can see here, we're going with Manchidi in goal, Warburton and Esteban as the defensive partnership. Decimard has one of those knocks. We'll give Warburton some time in the lineup until he's healed. Carlos Andre at left wing back, our leading assist maker for the season, which is very interesting. I don't think we've had a defender chip in with that many assists for quite a few seasons, so it's good to see him doing well. Fontana over at right wing back. Santana, as we mentioned, anchoring midfield alongside Henry, with Haji at the 10. Haji, our highest average rated player for the season. Harold on the left wing playing as an inside forward. Richard on the right playing as a winger, and Rivera leading the line up top. It's a very similar shape and formation for Leeds as well. They're playing a very similar 4-2-3-1. I think their two midfielders, their two central midfielders, are defensive midfielders instead of central midfielders like ours are. But they do have a couple of stars there. Temperini's the big one we're going to look at. This is a guy that we looked at for quite a while, even back as far as when he was at River Plate. And eventually we just did go for him. I can't really remember why. I think it's because Barbosa was playing well. I think we just picked up Arnaud Henry. And I wasn't really looking for a secondary player to come in central midfield. But he's really gone from strength to strength. He's arguably Leeds' best player, still only 21 years of age. He's on a fair bit of cash a week, so I don't think we can afford to bring him in. But 4.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's another of the best young talents in the division itself. And no real surprise that he's got their highest average rating for the season. They've got Kruger over here, or Krieger. Most assists for the year, a Brazilian left or right winger that they're playing on the left-hand side. Again, only 21 years of age. They're putting together a good young squad and just solid, like 16 crossing, dribbling, first touch. All very impressive stuff. Good physical and technical attributes, and mental attributes as well. 18 aggression, 18 flair, 17 off the ball, and physically 17 acceleration, 16 agility and pace. All you really need from a winger. And then over on the other side is their highest scorer, Duarte Barreiras, a Portuguese right winger. Can play a little bit up front. They're using him on the right wing, but 18 dribbling, 17 first touch, 16 technique. Very, very good physical attributes as well. They've had him for a few seasons after he joined from Porto. 4-star current and 4-star potential ability. He's a very impressive player as well. So they've still got a bit about them. I'm not sure what the reason is that they're struggling so much this year. Maybe it's just Alex Neil's tactics from last season aren't necessarily working as well. Maybe more teams are dropping off and being defensive against them because they are the reigning champions. Similar to the same struggles, I guess, that Leicester probably had in their real life season after being champions, and Champions League football as well. Can't forget that portion. I'm sure Leeds kind of struggling with squad depth, trying to get through a few games a week. I know we certainly are. First highlight of the match starts from a goal kick, so we are in possession. Esteban out wide right to Fontana. Back into midfield. It's a poor cross though. Nielsen wins it back, and Kennedy comes forward for Leeds. Got to get goal side, and thankfully his drive from distance well wide of the near post. But a little warning sign there, they can win the ball back high up the pitch if they need to. We're through 30 minutes now, so we're going to just use a demand more shout just through to halftime, give everyone some focus heading into the halftime break. It's been all leads statistically, but we have had a lot of the ball, which is always good to see. 1 minute of additional time added at the end of the first half, which we're through now. So at halftime, Leeds have had 6 shots, 1 on target, 43% possession. We've had 1 shot, none on target, and 57%. So we haven't created a lot. But I think other than that one real poor ball into midfield, we haven't let them have a whole lot of chances either. Assertively, we're going to say, great opportunity to show the pundits are right to back you up. And I'm also going to assertively tell Rivera up top that I think there's more to come from him. Only on a 6.4 rating. He's hot and cold. He's either fantastic and gets a double, or he's horrific and just gets a 6.3. They've just clipped the crossbar as well early in the second half as we clear the ball away. It's a highlight here. We'll see which direction this one goes and which team it's after. It's a poor ball forward. Antonio wins it back for Leeds. Jadson back to Antonio. Now Lazaro in midfield. Out to Krieger, who is their leading assist maker. We spoke about him in the build-up. Good cross back stick, and Barreras with the header just beyond far post. We are getting towards that hour mark, so what we might do is hit pause. And tactically, it's not 100% working. Maybe we'll come out of our shells a little bit and go, let's go attacking. Why not? And then sorting by rating. Rivera's having a poor game. We'll give him a spell. Schaefer can come on. Andre's not having a great game. I'm not going to risk switching out the fullbacks at the moment, though. Both Richard and Harold struggling. I think Richard's in better form, so we might bring on Mateo and switch him to be a winger on attack as well on that other side. We'll see if we can't get a little bit more production on that left-hand side. We're also going to use Old Faithful to get creative shout after an hour. Usually does the trick. And most players seem inspired by it, which is good. Really, we just need to finish one chance, and I think a 1-0 victory would be enough for either side in this match the way it's played out. Wide ball out to the right-hand side for Leeds. Allen, overlapping fullback, cuts it back to Lazaro in midfield. Now Katic on the left-hand side, who's come off the bench, gets the strike away, but it's straight at Mancini. That's the end of the highlight. Kind of a half chance there. We're going to hit pause one more time. We've got one more sub up our sleeve with 10 minutes remaining. We're going to take off Santana. We're going to bring on David Lind in midfield just to shore things up in the middle. If we're into the last 10 minutes, we definitely don't want to concede a second, and he's a bit more defensive-minded a player. We're also going to use demand more shout, which is giving everyone some focus through to full time. 5 minutes of additional time to be added on. We've got a deep free kick. Henri to take towards backstick. Pinballs around, and then Jadson gets it away for Leeds. He's coming forward, but he's pretty much on his own. Lind with a great tackle. Now Carlos Andre, Mancini, back to Andre again. What can we do from a wide left area? Warburton into Lind. Good ball out to Mateo. Good touch around the defender as well. If we're going to score, we need to try and do it here, but we've lost possession in midfield. Lazaro comes forward. Lind goes for the tackle again. Katic sends it out wide right to Krieger, who swaps sides. Pinballs around, and I don't know what's happened there in the build-up. Krieger with his second goal of the season. We're going to check this out. I have a feeling that we might have had a bit of a mix-up there between the goalkeeper and Carlos Andre, the left fullback. We'll see what happens here in 3 dimensions. Krieger comes forward. It's a good challenge. Carlos Andre goes to block the shot at the same time that Mancini dives to collect the ball. And it just seems to be that Krieger's the only one that stays on his feet and passes into the empty net. Very frustrating. And it's full time's called to 1-0 defeat. Krieger with the 92nd minute winner. 17 shots, 7 on target, 44% possession for Leeds. You can't say they didn't have more of the opportunities created. 7 shots, 1 on target, 56% possession for us. We're going to aggressively say, not happy with the result. And at least everyone's responded positively, which is good. But if you look at it just on paper, take out the fact that they were the champions last season, losing to the 17th side in the division isn't really great. And maybe we were on cautious too long. Maybe we were giving them too much respect in the build-up and not giving ourselves enough time to create. Does see us drop down to 4th spot, still on 29 points. United go 1 position above us on 30 points. But we do still hold off Arsenal, Liverpool and Bournemouth in the Europa League spots as things currently stand. I know Henri got a man of the match award, a 7.2 match rating. Always interesting when players still get a 7.2 match rating and the player of the match award. It must have been the best contest, I should say. And we've got 4 days until the game against Real Madrid, so we're going to utilise a rest day for sure. Hopefully some of these guys with little knocks that are returning to full fitness imminently should be back. Maybe Lucas Gabriel and Abdesamad start in the next match. And tactically, I think we'll open it up a little bit. We might as well go attacking from the off because we've not really got anything to lose. Both sides in the group guaranteed next round football. Really, the only thing that we're fighting for is pride, so we might as well go attacking against one of the better sides in the world. Magic of editing, though. We're going to jump forward to that match now. Right, just like that, we are a few days ahead. Now, we're going back to the asymmetric. We brought Lucas Gabriel back into the starting lineup in one change. Abdesamad comes in at central defence as well. And Lind are brought in as well, just because he's a little bit more defensively minded, I think, than Santana. And they are obviously a very good attacking lineup. Speaking of, they are playing a very similar shape again to ours. McKernan and Lanka, their midfield, similar role to Lind. It's almost mirrored. It was Derholtz that did the damage against us last time. It looks like this time he's playing on the left wing. I'm guessing as an inverted winger. They've done that to try and bring in Matteo Turin, who we've previously played against back when he was at Arsenal for a few seasons. It's a shame. Is there a way to, if you do know this, put this in the comment section. Is there a way to see what his record's like against me? So, like, has he scored against me a bunch of times? Because I have a feeling that he might have. Sadikovic played last time. Yeah, I played last time. Thiago and McKinnon played last time. They got Coutinho in goal. It's Miguel Angel, not Felipe. Looks decent, but not super spectacular. 32-year-old Argentine keeper. Been at Madrid now for a good few seasons. Spent a brief period at Norwich as well when he initially moved across to Europe from Argentina. He probably is the keeper that lost his spot to Federico Mancini, who's in goal for us for the Argentine national side. Assertively, we're going to tell, or calmly, we're going to tell everyone, nobody expects us to get a result. Just go out there and enjoy playing without any pressure. And maybe that's what we need. Maybe we're going a little bit too hard on everyone. Maybe we just need to have a chill game, relax a little bit, enjoy ourselves, enjoy our football, enjoy the occasion. And maybe that'll help us get back to a good result. We've got a corner here. It's Haji with the ball in, but it's headed away pretty emphatically by the Real Madrid team. Horrible language for me, but we have kept the ball back to Mancini. Now Lind into Henry. Ball over the top towards Rivera, but it's cleared away again. Harold does well to recover possession in midfield. First one to the second ball. Always good to see. That's proper Sunday League team talk. I'm sure everyone's heard that one at a corner here or there. Turin now got in goal side and he finds a finish. They're very, very good, Real Madrid. I don't know if that's a newsflash to anybody, but Real Madrid pretty good at the footballs, it would appear. And we are playing a little bit more aggressive a line, and it's just given Turin a bit of space to run into in behind. Sadikovic with a lovely weighted pass. It's very similar actually to the goals that they scored against us first time. It was Dermholtz getting played in from all different directions. I guess we can try and take this as a bit of a measure of how we're doing against like the elite European sides from around the world, not just within the Premier Division, but also, you know, kind of a development experience. Abdesamad's still only a 3-star wonder kid. Like, we want to try and push him up to 4 stars as quickly as we can. So it'll be a good learning curve for him to try and play against sides of this quality. Sadikovic gets goal side and Mancini with an excellent save. Carlos Andre did well there, stayed on his feet, stayed around the ball. Got a corner here again, Haji to take towards middle area, and we've managed to poke it home. Is it Abdesamad? No, it's Rivera in the end who I think got the last touch on it. But Harold, I think, got the original flick on. Abdesamad was in there somewhere because his name's highlighted. We'll check it out here in 3 dimensions. Haji with a good ball in. Harold goes up, and then Rivera just kind of nods it home from a few yards out. Maybe an outside shout for handball, but we've gotten away with it. And the highlights continue in the opening 10 minutes here. A goal apiece thus far, and now Madrid have possession, and Turin's gotten in goal side on the far end. It's a good save from Mancini. Fontana keeps it in, and the highlight comes to an end. Wide free kick now, Yao to take for Madrid. Backstick ball, had plenty of pace on it, but thankfully just beyond the half post. Deep throw in here for Madrid. Thiago with possession on halfway. Now McKinnon out wide right to Fulgencio, the overlapping fullback. It's closed down well, and now Harold's got the chance to move into space on this left-hand side. Tears away from a couple of defenders, but they are dropping quite quickly to get back into shape. Clearance is poor. Carlos Andre will recover for us. Haji with a poor ball, gives it away in a bad area. Turin. Now Thiago, as the Madrid wingers look to try and get forward. McKinnon sends it out wide right. Fulgencio again loses the ball out to Harold. That might be a key area where we can try and win back possession. Harold skips past a couple. He's done a lot of work, and then the strike at the end, not equal to it. Straight at Coutinho in the Madrid goal. It's not bad stuff though. We've got about 15 minutes remaining in the half. I might drop to counter for the last 15 minutes. Just try and hold on to this 1-1 score line. And then I might also, as they just head a header over the crossbar, just use a demand more shout as well. Give everyone some focus, just so that we maintain our current levels of performance through to the halftime whistle. 2 minutes additional time to be added on. We killed the game dead there by moving to counter-attacking. At halftime though, 6 shots, 3 on target, 52% possession for the Isle of Man. Real Madrid, 8 shots, 3 on target, 48% of the ball. We might go back to attacking, because why not? We'll give everyone an opportunity to try and pick themselves back up or take the game to another level. Passionately, I'm going to say we owe Madrid after what happened last time out, and that seems to have done the trick. Everyone responds positively, and as we always do, we'll give it 15 minutes or so, and then we'll have a look at making a couple of subs to try and take off some of these players that might be struggling for fitness at this time of the year with games coming thick and fast. A couple of issues of form out there as well, some match ratings that aren't great. And very quickly, we've made it to that 60-minute mark, so let's jump in. Looks like Haji hasn't had the greatest game. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get wild with it. We're going to send 2 up top with Uli Schaefer. We're going to bring on Harold, and we're going to bring on Matteo on the left wing. We'll put him as a winger on attack. So 2 attacking wingers, a little bit deeper. Still 2 deep line playmakers and 2 up top. We're going to get a bit more aggressive. Let's passionately say, I have faith in you. Get out there, make a difference. And sometimes you just got to roll the dice, you got to see what happens. And this is just us attempting to throw shit at the wall and go to a direct 4-4-2 with 20 minutes remaining against a very, very good Madrid team. All right, 10 minutes remain. We're going to hit pause, and then we're going to make that last sub. Lucas Gabriel hasn't had the greatest game. We'll bring on Frank Richard. Not as suited to that deeper role, but we want to try and keep consistency and balance in the team. And use demand more as well. A 1-1 draw against Real Madrid, not a horrific result. Not anything to be too upset about. And with 4 minutes of additional time, we've got possession here from a goal kick. Mancini to take. Esteban, long ball forward to Richard. Can beat a man in 1v1 and burst past the fullback. It keeps going into the area, wide left area. Oh, and he shoots straight at the keeper. We had a couple of bodies in the middle there. Those two strikers were both on hand to try and tap that one home if you had squared it up. Richard will get to take the resulting corner as well. 3 minutes of additional add-on time remaining. Lind now, edge of the area, finds Henri. Can he get the strike away? Someone's got to shoot, surely, and eventually it's a pretty poor effort. Looked a bit rushed in the end. Had more time than I think he was aware. Coutinho sends it out to the right-hand side. Fulgencio forward to Sadikovic. Carlos Andre loses out to him, and Sadikovic keeps his feet, skips past the challenge. Wide right area, not a bad effort, just beyond the far post. Through the 4 minutes of additional time now, and the referee calls full time. It's a 1-1 draw in the end. 9 shots, 4 on target, 50% possession. 14 shots, 6 on target, 50% of the ball for Madrid. It's rare actually that sides do have the same amount of possession as us. We do keep the ball very well. Assertively, I'm going to say you're unlucky tonight. We're not going to get too down on anyone. And it does guarantee us knockout round football in the Champions Division for the first time in our history. Abdesamad gets the Player of the Match award, a 7.5 rating, which is fantastic. We get a fair bit of cash as well for that result also. Looking around the groups, it looks like Barcelona and Man United have made it out of their kind of group of death. Bayern Munich, the side that falls into the Europa League. Atletico Madrid and Stuttgart make it out of Group B. Inter falls into the Europa League. PSG and Juventus, which you'd expect, make it out of Group C. City and Schalke make it out of Group D, which is pretty straightforward. Leeds actually top their group undefeated, which is crazy. FC20 following up with them. Napoli finishing bottom of the group, a bit of a shock. Valencia and Arsenal make it out of their match group. Roma fall into the Europa League. Celtic didn't win a match in their campaign. Porto and Feyenoord make it out of the group at the expense of Nims and AEK Athens. And Madrid and Isle of Man make it out of Group H. Wolfsburg, very late surge from them, a draw against us and then a last day win against Dinamo Kiev, enough to get them Europa League football as the competition continues. Now, we do have a game against Norwich. We're going to play that one off screen and we're going to come back and do the Champions League group stage draw, which looks to be taking place, I think it's this Monday, the 15th. So, magic editing, we're going to jump forward to that now. All right, so a little bit earlier than expected because we've got our youth intake preview. Now, if you remember yesterday's episode, we actually brought in a new head of youth development, which I've been very interested to see how it works out. And it doesn't look like a terrible youth intake preview. We've got apparently a forward who's going to be a fine prospect and then an English right back from Manchester who has caught the eye like that. We could definitely use some depth and some English players in both those positions. That would be fantastic to see. Update on club info as well. We've got improvements to our youth facilities coming as well. I think that got rejected in yesterday's episode from memory. But on the same timeline as our training facilities getting updated, we should also get the same for our youth facilities around October of next season. Those should be updated, which is fantastic to see. It should take us up to, I think, excellent training facilities and excellent youth facilities. We do already have state-of-the-art data analysis facilities. We need to try and get the rest up to that same level as well. All right, this time for real, we're going to jump forward to the Champions League group stage. Oh no, knockout round draw. I don't know where I'm at. It's been a long week. All right, we're a few days ahead. Now, we did actually win our game against Norwich 2-0, which is fantastic. It does see us stay fourth in the division and gives us a bit of a points barrier to Arsenal, who is next up in our next match. But we've got the first knockout round draw, which we want to go and check out as much as possible. Some big teams in there, these first seeds that are going to go through: Atletico Madrid, Man City, Real Madrid. Obviously, we can't draw them again. Barcelona, Leeds, PSG, Valencia. You'd say maybe like Porto, Valencia, even Leeds to an extent might be a better draw for us than some of these big teams. We have beaten Atletico Madrid in previous seasons, but the likes of Man City, PSG, we'd want to try and avoid them. But we might as well do automatic draw, check out some of these big ties as they get pulled out of the hat. Of course, all of the English sides making it through to the knockout rounds, which is great for the coefficient. We've been pulled out against, it's going to come up now, Atletico Madrid. So not a terrible draw. We have actually played them previously in the Europa League as well. United get PSG, that's huge. Arsenal got Barcelona as the first tie. Schalke get Real Madrid. You'd think Madrid will probably go through in that one. Stuttgart go through against FC Porto. And then FC20 draw Man City. You'd think City are pretty straightforward to get through in that one as well. Juventus draw Leeds. That's a huge tie for the English side. and Feyenoord versus Valencia to finish that one off. So some very tasty little ties in that competition. It does see us get Atletico in February, so there is a bit of a stretch until we get to that particular date and that game. So it might not be Monday's episode. We might come back and try and do something in January, I think. Maybe we do... I've played City a few times already this season, but maybe we'll play Man City and Brighton, two of the cashed up money bags teams, both teams with a whole lot of cash. And then maybe in Tuesday's episode, we do both knockout games for the Champions League knockout rounds. We'll play Atletico a couple of games off screen in the league itself, and then Atletico again. And depending on that result, depending on if we actually make it through, there could be some more interesting knockout ties to come throughout the course of this season, or at least next week as we get towards the end of season 17. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that I appreciate the most. If you want to go that extra mile, support the channel that little bit further, drop a like on this video or subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our videos as we continue to release Monday to Friday, right up until the release of Football Manager 2021. If you've got your own save ideas for Football Manager 2021, if you've got updates on the saves that you're currently doing in Football Manager 2020, then by all means drop them down in the comment section below. I do love hearing about people's saves, and I do respond to every single comment that I get. But as always, guys, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.